He was born preparing guacamole. He complains about Americans while wearing an LA Dodgers hat and eating hot Cheetos. He can only speak Spanish unless you owe him money. He had a mustache before puberty and a kid before graduation. He once tunneled under the border, got bored halfway, and opened a taco stand. He's been deported 14 times, but hasn't left once. He served Coca-Cola at his brother's funeral, who died from diabetes. He protests being sent back to Mexico while waving a bigger Mexican flag than the embassy has. He fries beans, then for some reason, fries them again. He hates gringos until his daughter brings one home. Then it's better than a Moreno. He doesn't smuggle drugs. He smuggles Tupperware full of Malay. He packs hot sauce for international flights, just in case the food is white. He spends 99% of a soccer match faking an injury. He mows everyone's yard, except his own. His cousin is always on his way, and has been for 3 years. He keeps his dog on the roof, and calls it security. His first words were, "No mames," and he hasn't stopped saying it since. He is the most Mexican man in the world.
Dos Equis, I don't drink that shit. I drink liters of pulque. Stay undocumented, my friends.
Stay undocumented, my friends. I'm going to learn to just unmute myself when I start. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. I cleared it before I saw any of you saying this stuff here. I cleared it right away. I cleared it. I took care of it. If you came here early, you may not realize I updated tonight's stream where I do plan on talking about America, Iran, Israel, that whole situation. We're definitely going to be spending some time talking about that situation. I also am putting up a banner. Before I put up a banner here, I need to explain something to you that I never really understood, but well, parts of this I didn't understand. But I should explain this to you. So today is technically my birthday. Not on my passport, or would they have a birthday? They don't have a birthday. Do you have a birthday on a passport? I think, I'm not sure. Not on my driver's license. Not on my driver's license, which, yes, I have one. Not on my driver's license. But not on my birth certificate, because those of you who have been following me for years may well be aware of the fact that my solar birthday is June 25th. That's when my birthday is. But I'll probably take the night off that night. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I usually let Lady Lawgic decide what happens on my birthday. But it is what we call my Hebrew birthday today. What does that mean? What that means is that there's a solar calendar, which is what, most of America follows. And then there's a lunar calendar, which is where you have what they call the Jewish calendar, which is where we basically keep track of the months based on the 29.5-day lunar cycle. So whatever day you're born on has both days of reckoning. And Jews traditionally have celebrated their Hebrew birthday. That's considered like, you get bar mitzvah on your Hebrew birthday. It doesn't matter when your English birthday is. That's the day of your bar mitzvah. So yeah, this is so, and it starts at nightfall and it goes into the next day, and your birthday ends the next day. So my birthday is called Chaf Aleph Sivan, or the 21st day of Sivan. Sivan is the name of the Hebrew month, which is the third month in the Jewish calendar by most ways of reckoning. And yeah, so that's just tonight started at sunset. Tonight started the 21st day of Sivan, which means that this makes this my Jewish birthday now until sunset tomorrow. Why am I bringing this up? I normally wouldn't even say anything about it, but it's been called to my attention that there is a custom, that there is considered a special power of someone. I don't know what that means. And this is the part I can't really explain. Okay. I can't really explain because I don't really understand the mystical elements to my own religion that well. And this is kind of a mystical type of thing. But I'm certainly not anyone significant or important. But they say that even if someone is insignificant or unimportant, that their whatever blessings they give people on their Hebrew birthday has an added power with God. I don't know why that would be. I don't understand much about it. I'm certainly not guaranteeing it. But as soon as I got home this evening, Lady Lawgic asked me to give her what we call, in Hebrew, we call a bracha, but in English, we would call it a blessing, where I basically wish good things on people. And there's a thought that it has some sort of impact, that it's got more power to that blessing that I have. I don't know if it'll do anything. It really could do nothing. So anyway, so I decided instead of doing my normal fare where I have, because when I give a blessing, it ends up being like a long thing. So I don't really want to be doing like 1,000 of them tonight. But I did say, I figured, you know what? Of course, it's my birthday. I get a super chat rant, $20 more. Any one of them, I will be giving you a blessing. So there you go. I'm going to leave that running the entire show. So I just want to throw that out there as like a thing. And no one should feel pressure to partake. Certainly. Look at this. Remember for 12 months. See, for that, remember for 12 months, I'm going to give you a blessing, Anthony, that you should feel genuine growth from this channel. And that growth should be something that you actually feel in your day-to-day life. That feels meaningful and impactful. And that you similarly continue to grow even when you're not watching this channel. But happy birthday, Joe. Wishing many more years of blessing, good health, happiness, and success. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't want anyone to feel like deceived. Like when I mention, which I likely will mention on June 25th as being my birthday, I don't want anyone to feel like, how does this guy have so many birthdays? Now you know the answer to that. Okay. If you came here early tonight also, you likely did not see that I updated what I'm covering here. Why is that? Well, I had a certain pre-selection of what I planned on covering tonight because I get very invested in things. A lot of you have heard me talk about the whole I can't find the pickles. It's because I become like laser focused on this is where my focus is. So that's why it's very challenging for me to actually put together a show about what's going on in the world when I'm on trial, or this is like on trial when I'm like covering this Diddy thing and I'm just like thinking about like this part of things or this thing, and I'm just very laser focused on Diddy. Everything outside of the Diddy world just doesn't happen for me until like I sort of like decompress from my whole Diddy work. And then I'm like, oh, what's going on in the world? And where do I turn to for that? Well, I get an email update from Jim, and he tells me what's going on. And he sends me emails because he's awesome and great, and you should sub up to Jim Tells You. And he sends out emails. He sends an email to me with links and different story stuff and ideas to cover, and he's great. However, he's so diligent about it that he sent it to me relatively early. And that's why I saw his email. I don't know if he sent me another one. He sometimes will send me later ones with later updates. And most of the focus was on the Democrat rallies and things going on with that Belter lunatic and the Utah shooting and folks leaving the DNC. And I was like, okay, this is the chaos going on in the DNC. I can get down with that. And then when I start setting the show up, I see this announcement from Trump relating to Iran, and I was like, okay, I can't not talk about this. I have to talk about what's going on. When Trump issues a statement like this, you sort of need to talk about it. So I'm going to be talking about it. I think it's important for us to weigh in with my thoughts about the developing friction between America and Iran, and this war, which seems to be, I don't know if you call it Israel being at war with Iran, but if they're not, they're about as close as you can possibly get, right? I mean, Israel has engaged in certain surgical strikes over the course of its history before. This is not the first time they've done it, and Usually, most of the time that happens, it does not result in being an all-out war. But this one is far more prolonged, and Iran is striking back. So it seems as if there's certainly on the cusp of war, and they shut down the Ben Gurion Airport, which is the main international airport out of Israel. I will mention to you all that my dad, thank God, is totally fine. He is actually in Israel now. He was supposed to come back next week. He does not expect that they're going to let anyone leave when he's scheduled to leave. And they say that there are tens of thousands, if not more, of Americans who are trapped in Israel until this conflict de-escalates considerably. So, yeah, but anyone who has concerns should just be aware of the fact that, thank God, my dad and my son, who's also in Israel, my son is living in Israel right now, so that both of them are fine, thank God. And my immediate family, that I can trace their lineage, is fine, thank God. So anyway, what happened with Iran? Jim's asking. What happened? I must have missed that. What happened with Iran? What happened with Iran? Really? Well, there's this. There's this right here. Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. That sounds foreboding. That sounds like a lot of people are taking this to as Trump saying that America is about to attack Tehran. That's how a lot of folks are taking this. America is about to attack Tehran. That's how folks are interpreting it. I want to talk about whether or not that interpretation seems accurate. It's hard to know. It's hard to know definitively. I'm not gonna claim that I have the inside perspective as to what's going on inside the White House tonight as they're talking about this. Let's look at what Trump has been saying on Truth Social so we can get a better feel for exactly what it is that he's been saying. So in the last few hours, he put out that tweet, that post on Truth Social that I just shared with you, a screenshot of that. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said over and over again, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. He also has said, someone please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that, quote, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So he seems not too pleased with Tucker Carlson. There you go. Yes, it's a Jew. It's the Jewiest thing I've ever done. It is. It is. But it is. It is. There you go. So, yes. So what do we got? Somebody please explain to Kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's what he sent out 3 hours ago. Then he sent America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Make America great again. So I guess he's defining MAGA or America first, meaning Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's part of America first. And he's defining it. So there you go. Iran should have signed the deal I told him to sign. What a shame, waste of human life. Simply say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's now his pinned truth. That's his pinned statement. So that's what he's sending out there, which seems kind of scary. It sounds as if we're going to war. In fact, there's other indicators of that all you got to do is, if you just put in Trump Iran, and you'll see one headline after another about how DC is bristling here. USA Today over here reporting Trump They also reporting that they have a flash sale of $5 for the first year. Trump urging everyone in Tehran to evacuate before it's too late. Washington, Trump urged residents of Tehran to evacuate immediately after telling the country it should have signed a nuclear deal with the United States when talks were on the table. The president is leaving the Group of Seven summit in Alberta, Canada, where he and other world leaders were discussing the now 5-day-old shooting war between Israel and Iran. Trump has said for days that Iran should make a deal, but his message became more dire as he warned the Iranian capital, roughly 10 million residents, to flee in the dead of night. I think when he's saying get out of Iran, out of Tehran, I think he's talking to you. That's one way of interpreting it. That's one way of interpreting it, that he's basically saying, I'm going to nuke Tehran. You know, that's one way of interpreting it. I would not have interpreted it this way. Now, to be fair to USA Today, which I don't know why I would be fair to them because they're as slanted as imaginable. But if I want to be fair to USA Today, this interpretation they have that he's basically going to go bombing them is, and the warning came is not a leftist perspective. A lot of folks on the right are interpreting it similarly. That to me is somewhat significant. And when I say it's somewhat significant, that's because historically, for the last 9 years, whenever Trump says anything, the left misinterprets it. So whenever you see the left basically giving a position as to what Trump is saying, invariably, if you go with what leftist media is interpreting his words to mean, invariably it's spun, it's slanted, it's stupid. It's like basically, I can't believe he said that they had a buffet with hamburgers a mile high. In case he's unaware of it, a mile is 5,280 feet. And the highest hamburger there seemed to be about 30 feet off the ground. So he's crazy and he's an idiot. Like, that's leftist interpretation of Trump, right? And if he says that Mexico sends us their criminals, they're insane people, they're crapists. It's like, next thing you know, he's like, he called all Mexicans. It's like, you can't trust them at all. And I think part of it is they just really don't understand. I think some of it is just stupidity. And I think a large percentage of it is willful misinterpretation. It's willful framing in a screwed up kind of way in order to get their whatever few dwindling viewers they still have to try and inspire them to hate Trump. So that's why you should never, ever trust what leftist media says about Trump or interpreting his language, because his language can be ambiguous, it can be amorphous, it can be a little bit confusing. Can be. However, in this particular instance, to be fair, a lot of people on the right are interpreting it the same way. Now, in the America First movement, you have a dire split. This is one of the things I'm noticing. You have a dire split, as I'm sure you're aware, of those people who, before there's a direct conflict between Israel and Iran, there seems to be a very overt split amongst the Christian right or amongst whomever, and there probably may be a split in my audience as to whether or not people support Israel or Palestine. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few folks here who are talking about Trump's Truth Social here, and I want to get sort of a flavor of those who have weighed in as being pro-Israel versus being pro-Palestine. Okay, and this is the only issue where you'll see such a divergence within the MAGA movement. Within the MAGA movement, there is very clearly a divergence as to what is your take on Israel. I think it's a fascinating thing to me. Of course, it's intentionally misleading. Yeah. So you got some people here who, this guy is right-leaning and he hates Israel. He thinks he despises Israel. He used to follow me. I doubt he still does. Oh, he does. All right. Patrick Henningsen. This guy is, if you ask me, I think I wouldn't call him it's so hard he despises Israel. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, Patrick Henningsen despises Israel. Geopolitical analyst, journalist, and founder of 21st Century Wire, and he's been bashing Israel basically since October 8th, 2023. He's been bashing them ever since, and it's interesting to see how folks are. It's interesting to see how folks are. Are you still a fan of Tucker Carlson? I'm still a fan of Tucker Carlson. I think Tucker Carlson isn't a big fan of the whole Israel thing. I'm still a fan of his. See, and there's the thing, and there's the rub also, because there's a big difference between the way Tucker Carlson seems to be against Israel from like a Candace Owens, who's gone full derangement. And I think Ben Shapiro likely broke her brain. But yeah, that she's fully deranged. Like she's like seeking out, like just like, you know, Jew, and then she's like, why are people calling me anti-Semitic? It's being anti-Israel is not anti-Semitic, and that's theoretically true. You can definitely be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic. Definitely, that's definitely possible. I'll let you know if I find anyone like that. Happy birthday! Thank you for sharing your customs with us. I think Tucker Carlson might qualify as that. I think he's anti-Zionist. I don't think he's. I would not label Tucker Carlson. God bless you. I'll bring this back up. I'll bring it back up in a moment. I think Tucker Carlson's probably a good example of that. I think he's probably anti-Zionist, but I don't think he's at all anti-Semitic. He's that rare breed. I think I would qualify him that way. Yeah. Donald Trump. Here we go. You see, here's Luna. I can't read her anymore. I can't. It's just such a shame what happened to her. It's such a shame. Disagree with him will attack you too. Dissent isn't allowed in cults. See, this is idiots. Trust me. He would know. He would know. So I'll tell you right now, if you've been following my show for a while, I don't talk about the Middle East very often, and that is purposeful. Ever since October 7th, the times you'll hear me talk about about Israel-Palestinian conflict, likely it means that I have my father on. My father was basically the source of all my knowledge about what goes on in the Middle East. And I think he knows 10 times about the Middle East as anyone you're going to find, because he's got a doctorate in medieval Christian-Muslim relations. He speaks Arabic. He's been to Egypt. I mean, he actually knows, he understands the culture and the mindset. And he came to the culture and mindset because he appreciated the culture. He thought it was he thought that the Muslim world is a fascinating culture. Didn't come to it from a place of hate. Came from it because he wanted to learn about it. And that's why he learned Arabic and wanted to study Islam by reading original texts. So, and if you understand a Middle Eastern culture, you understand that their mindset is not remotely similar. And this applies to Israeli mindset too, that a Middle Eastern cultural mindset is not remotely similar to a Western mindset. Just the way they think about what is right, what is wrong, what is healthy, what is unhealthy. It has nothing in common with the way, if you're an American or in Europe, the way you think. That's not to say that they're inferior at all. In many ways, a Middle Eastern cultural mindset is much healthier than an American mindset. Much healthier. Just as far as like, much healthier than what we see today. For example, this is what I mean by that. I think that it's not much healthier than what our founding fathers' mindsets were. I think their mindset is much healthier than. I think that mindset mentality is much healthier than a Muslim mindset. But if you look at the respect for elders, their family values, and things of that nature, that we who are part of MAGA espouse and believe in, that has unfortunately eroded in large degree over the last 60 years in America. And it's as fervent as ever in a Muslim culture. So, you know, in that sense, I think that it's superior. Certain things about it, I think, are inferior. And certain things are just different. Certain things are just very, very different. As far as like what makes them tick, like how they operate differently with each other. When I was 18, 19 years old, I was actually 19 then turning 20. I spent a year studying in Israel. One of the things about Israel, and this applies whether you go into the Arab Shuk, which is like the Arab market, or you're dealing with an Israeli. You go in there as an American tourist, and you will see that they have their different wares and touristy types of stuff that they sell, and things of that nature, and that will all have price tags on it as to how many shekel it costs, like what the charge is, how many shekel it costs. And you can do the conversion in your head, try figuring out like, what the actual cost is in American dollars. And they price that they list up there. No one who's an Israeli would pay that price. Nobody. They expect, and it's the same thing in the Arab markets too. So you'll see something like see an iPod, right? And you'll see it costs 1,200 shekel. So you go in there, you offer them 300 shekel, 400 shekel. And then they'll be like, "Wow, you crazy? No, I would never give it away. I'd be losing money. Get out of here. Get out of here." And then you're like, "Okay, fine. I'll give you, what can you do for me on it?" And they'll be like, 1,100, and you start working your way and you haggle back and forth and you come to a final price. Imagine doing that in Best Buy. You see a TV up there, and they're selling it for $1,800, and you're like, "All right, I'll give you 13." They'd be like, "What, are you out of your mind? You can't pay $1 or less." And it's a cultural mindset where you think, "Okay, that's crazy. Why would they have it that way? Just charge what it's supposed to charge." No. This way, the actual art of negotiating is kind of like trying to like win something. Like you sort of feel as like, where can I? Both buyer and seller walk into the exchange fully knowing that the bartering is part of the purchase, and that's what they enjoy. There's a good feeling for the customer if I feel like I got a good deal, and that's why they intentionally overinflate the price, because they know that people are going to want to come in there and feel like they got a special, they got a good deal, and that applies, like I said, throughout the Middle East. And it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish or Muslim; it's the same. Which way is better? I don't know. I mean, it's just different. I wouldn't say this is better or that's better. It's just different. But a lot of people just think like, they have similar wants and desires that what we have. That's just not true. It's not true. And if you don't understand the mindset of the person you're working with, you're going to completely misunderstand how they will react to you, and you're going to do a poor job in having any kind of negotiation. It is a Middle Eastern mindset that if they are in a battle with you, and you come off and you're crushing them, and you come and offer them peace, that you must be afraid. You have to understand this. If that's just the mindset. So why would I let up? You're obviously afraid. Obviously, you sort of have to understand that when you're coming to them and talking to the peace, if you don't understand that, you're coming from a position of just completely bungling any type of possible negotiation. You have to understand the need to save face. Now, Trump has displayed this need and has displayed in his first term a very, very nuanced understanding of this mindset mentality, and we saw it with respect to the assassination of Soleimani. What happened with Soleimani is that after I'm not sure it was Soleimani or Baghdadi, but one of them afterwards, Iran said, "We can't take this. You just embarrassed us. So we need to strike back." But we really don't want to have America raining down bombs on us, because that's a war we cannot win. So what did they do? They blew up like an empty, barren American facility. Cost us money. So they blew up an American facility. And what did Trump say? He's like, "Okay, you got the last hit on us. Fortunately, no Americans died, so I don't need to respond. If that's the end of it, we walk our separate ways." And we go. So now Iran was able to basically say, oh, you see, we struck back and they ran away and claimed their victory. And Trump got what he wanted without it escalating into being a full assault, without it escalating into being a full war. It's like he got what he wanted and was able to make it basically knock out ISIS and not end up dragging us into some crazy knockdown, scary, terrifying, awful war where American soldiers are at risk or die or whatever, terrible injuries without the invasion, without anything. He handled it brilliantly, really, really brilliantly, in ways that few presidents in American history would have been as skilled. I mean, imagine Captain Dementia there trying to pull something like that off. Come on. Can you even imagine? Or the apologizer in chief, Barack Obama, doing something like, no way. He built ISIS. He literally built ISIS because he had no idea what the hell was happening in the Middle East. He just walks around doing his stupid apology tour and saying, like, we're the United Cucks of America. So, stupidest thing in the world. Dumb. That was Barack Obama's policies. Trump understands. He understands that he's like, look, here. He goes into a meeting with the Taliban, and he basically says, we're going to withdraw. We're going to give you what you want, but no Americans are going to get harmed, because if any American gets harmed, you will die. That's how you deal with it. And shows him an aerial photo of the guy's house with like basically drones ready to just kill you. If he was in power, there's no way anyone gets harmed during our withdrawal from Afghanistan. No one. That never happens. It's impossible. There's no way that happens because he understands the Middle Eastern mindset. He understands how to deal with them. So now we have this moment here. We have this moment here. This moment where Trump comes out and he says, you better get out of Tehran. Everyone this is what we have here. Everyone get out of Tehran. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. What's he doing? I'll tell you right now, right at this point, I do not know what he is doing. I don't know what the strategy is. I don't know what the game plan is. I don't know what his agenda is. I definitely never want to see our troops going into Iran. I don't want to see him spending the money. If he wants to sell bombs to Israel, I think that's appropriate. I don't want him spending money. I don't want him spending American lives. I just want him to say, look, whatever you need, we'll sell to you. That's fine. We're not, this is not our war. It's your war. That's what I want to see. And I'll tell you right now that I don't know what this is about. I don't know what his game plan is. I don't think anyone knows what his game plan is. I'm not even sure if his own game plan is fully fleshed out yet in his own mind. It's very... What? I understand that, but I understand he doesn't want him to have nuclear weapons, but the question is how he plans, what he envisions as being the final result here. What does he envision as the final result? How does he plan to go from where we currently are to him feeling that we got this? Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. How does he plan on getting there? I don't know that he has that fully fleshed out in his mind. But what I do know is this. Every time Trump has been faced with an issue of foreign affairs, he has handled it masterfully. So I'm confident that we're not going to end up sending troops in there. That's what I'm confident is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. There's a lot of antipathy for the idea of this, even amongst people who, have been somewhat pro-Israel. Rich Barris here. This is the biggest problem with the pro-war argument. You have to first. He was basically saying that it's disaster. I think a lot of people saw I saw that. I think a lot of people saw. This wasn't really what I was looking for here, but let me see if like this Trump Iran. Probably see a whole bunch of. It's his White House statement. That's Bernie Sanders freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. Saying Trump gets us involved in another war, he'll lose half his base. I think that's probably true. And this is what I agree with Clandestine. I don't think, in no way does this indicate that we're about to strike Iran. Because frankly, if you think about it, how did we end up getting hostages taken in Iran in 1979? How did that end up happening? Oh, you know how that ended up happening? Because they got mad and they decided we're going to take some hostages. And perhaps he's talking to Americans and saying, hey, don't hang out in Tehran because I don't know that they're not going to try and use you and take you as a hostage. And it really could be as simple as that. I saw what happened under Carter, and I don't want to have to try and negotiate for your release or go to war to try and get you recovered. So please get out of Tehran. That's not I'm going to bomb Tehran. That's me advising Americans, get out of Tehran. Bumper to bumper traffic, people trying to get the heck out of Tehran. There you go. All right. Oh, Nicholas Fuentes. There you go. There's a real dedicated person telling everyone they should vote for Kamala on the eve of Election Day. Justin Trump has informed multiple allies in the Middle East the U.S. will not get involved in the Iran war unless Iran targets Americans per Axios. I don't think we're going in. I think Lindsey Graham wants us to go in. I think he does. Thank God he's not the president. Then you got this clown over here, Congresswoman Yasemin Ansari. Both of my parents fled Iran, so this is personal. Trump's words are callous and horrifying. You're an idiot. Shut up. No one cares. Dave Smith calling him George W. Trump. Stupid. They're so stupid. So stupid. We're not going into Iran. We're not going in there. I'll tell you right now. Have confidence in Trump. We're not going into Iran. I don't want us going into Iran, and I don't think we are. I think he wants Iran to think that we may be coming. I do think he wants Americans to leave Tehran. So here's a quick history lesson for everyone who suddenly lost faith in President Trump's judgment and desire for peace. June 19, 2019, Iran shoots down an unmanned U.S. drone. Bolton, Pompeo, Pence, and many other Washington warmongers pushed Trump to authorize a retaliatory strike. It is estimated that 150 Iranians would be killed. At the last moment, Trump called off the strike. Listen to him explain why. That's what I'm saying. We're not going into Iran.
Up first in a busy hour, a high-stakes confrontation that came within minutes of becoming a higher-stakes conflict. President Trump gave the go order Thursday for strikes targeting Iranian missile batteries and radar installations. And then, with just minutes to spare, he aborted the mission. The president says he decided in the end it was not proportional.
Everybody was saying I'm a warmonger, and now they say I'm a dove. And I think I'm neither. You want to know the truth. I'm a man with common sense, and that's what we need in this country is common sense. But I didn't like the idea of them knowingly shooting down an unmanned drone, and then we kill 150 people. I didn't like that.
Now, we know the president's top national security advisors favored the targeted strikes, and those competing views are on public display today. In his remarks to reporters yesterday, the president said he was confident sanctions against Iran were working, even held out hope they would eventually come back to the bargaining table to negotiate a new nuclear deal. But in Israel today, listen here, the Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton striking a more hawkish tone.
As usual, because he's a lunatic.
Neither Iran nor any other hostile actor should mistake U.S. prudence and discretion for weakness.
I can't listen to this
No one has granted them a hunting license in the Middle East. And as he made clear yesterday, referring to his earlier remarks, the president said, I just stopped the strike from going forward at this time.
And so when you watch this play out, especially, it's a known fact that the Secretary of State, the National Security Advisor, the Vice President told the President they thought this was a good plan, targeted strikes. They said, go for it. The President pulls back. You have a Republican Party. Imagine if President Obama had done this. Well, President Obama did not enforce his red line in Syria.
Obama sucked. He was terrible. He didn't understand anything about Middle Eastern philosophy. And he displayed that in his first month in office when he went around with his stupid apology tour.
For example, and the Republicans were harshly critical, saying you make America look weak. Listen to one Republican here. We know how hawkish she is in her heart. Liz Cheney, the daughter of the former Vice President Dick Cheney.
God.
If, Iran thinks that it can
I can't listen to her. I'm sorry. I'm out. Okay. See, I don't know why Cernovich thinks Trump's going to do what Lindsey Graham tells him to. Lindsey Graham would have wanted him to invade Iran on day one. I'll tell you right now. What is this? The only way we can avoid war with Iran is if Donald Trump echoes Ronald Reagan and threatens the entire future of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Met with news is the Israelis delivered the most devastating bomb and artillery attack on West Beirut lasting 14 hours. Habib Cable, desperate, has base agreement. I told him he had to stop or our entire future relationship was endangered. All right. I don't know if he has to warn that. But I do think that it might be strategic for him to tell Bibi to stop publicly. And he might even tell Bibi, I'm going to tell you publicly to stop. But go ahead and do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Don't worry about it. I'm going to publicly announce that you should stop, but go do what you need to do. I think it's very possible that that's what he's going to that's what's happening behind the scenes. He's sufficiently shrewd in the way he handles foreign affairs that he understands that there's a stupidity towards telling the world what his strategy is. It's the dumbest thing in the world. But he has to say something publicly. So yeah, what he says to the public and what America's policy is with respect to Iran is very likely far away from each other. And that's probably part because he understands that Iran is monitoring what he says. So, like, it's like, is he supposed to say, I'm holding a full house? Like, here's my 5 cards. Is that what everyone's expecting him to do? Like, just think for a second here. Just use your brain. So I expect him to be saying some things and doing other things. That's likely what happens behind the scenes. And that's what we as his constituents should be hoping he does. It's like there's a lot of poker that happens in these negotiations. A lot of poker. So, yeah, I'm not expecting him to come out and tell me exactly what the plan is over the next 2 months, 3 months. And he needs the flexibility to decide that without us saying, well, you said this. You said that. This is what we should be saying. Oh, my God, you're brilliant when it comes to foreign policy. We trust you. And no, I don't want you sending American troops in there. I don't mind people saying that. I'm totally fine with that. He's shown that he's responsive to public outcry. So to the extent he might be leaning towards listening to the more hawkish advisors that he has, I think it's helpful if you don't want to see American troops go in there, as I do not, to keep echoing that. No, please don't send our troops in there. And be screaming at it if you want. But for people to be like threatening him or calling him a lunatic or bailing on him, how stupid do you have to be to still question that you understand foreign policy better than Donald Trump does? Show me the person who has displayed a greater intuition, a greater cognitive ability, a greater insight in foreign policy from any country. Show me a leader from any country ever who has displayed a better insight, short of those who you want to point to like brilliant generals of ancient lore. Perhaps you could say, well, they were better at it. Okay, you want to show me Alexander the Great? Okay, you want to show me Genghis Khan? He knew how to handle his enemies, but that's not what we're looking for from our president, obviously. So tell me, who is it that understood foreign affairs? Tell me who the person is who understands it better than Trump. And tell me, Churchill? Who understands it better? Churchill made his mistakes before he became prime minister in the middle of World War II. Tell me who it is that has displayed just perfect understanding of foreign affairs. So given that he's already gone through 4 years, starting no new wars, being the first president in American history to start no new wars, and while wiping out ISIS, managed to handle Xi and Kim Jong-il, Kim and North Korea, managed to keep Putin from invading anywhere while wiping out ISIS. Tell me who it is that you think has displayed a greater aptitude with respect to foreign affairs than our current commander-in-chief. And I'll tell you right now, you're not going to come up with a name that's going to come in. I'd be shocked if anyone come up with a name that I'd be like, yeah, that's the person who displayed it. Time and again, incident after incident, country after country, he has shown that he is perfectly on cue with how to handle these folks every time. So I have confidence in him now. That doesn't mean, I do think when he's telling folks get out of Tehran, I do think he's definitely talking to the Americans who are currently in Tehran. I think if you're an American in Tehran, you should get the hell out of there. That does not mean because we're about to be hitting it with drones. It could be because he doesn't want you to be taken hostage. The way that happened back in the late 70s. So, yeah. But anyone, and perhaps he words it that way because he wants people to interpret it as if he's about to bomb. That could be part of his strategy too. I don't know. The only way we understand his strategy is 6 months after the whole thing wraps up. We're not going to understand it next week, like what his whole, what his purpose and agenda and ultimate end game is. But time and again, he has displayed a unique aptitude for how to deal with foreign affairs. If there's any area where we should have confidence that this is the man who's right for this moment and right for this situation and in the right place at the right time, and thank God he's there. It is right here, right now, President Donald Trump with respect to Iran. Does that mean he won't screw up? No, it doesn't mean that. Ultimately, only God is infallible. He might screw it up. It's possible. And I have no problem with people saying, hey, look, don't send freaking Americans into Iran. I have no problem with that. I'm with them. I'm saying to you right now, Donald Trump, do not send any American troops into Iran. Don't do it. I'm simply saying he puts out his messaging there. Don't get in all like a crazy tizzy. Don't think like, oh my God, this means this means that. Because it's meant for you to see, and it's also meant for Tehran to see. It's meant for them to see also. It's meant for the UAE to see and Saudi Arabia to see. It's meant for Gaza. It's meant for Israel to see. It's meant for everyone. He understands that he's like, this is the best message to put out right now to further my direction for foreign affairs. It does not mean it, but look at what he says and then look at what he does. And often, they're very far from each other. And that's often a blessing because we do not need to know what his plan is to be a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. You don't need to know. As long as it ultimately is to America's benefit. And so far in foreign policy, this guy, chef's kiss. Perfect. And God should give him proper guidance. It's my birthday. I'll give you a blessing, President Trump. President Trump, I give you a blessing that God should give you perfect guidance in order to help see America safely through this entire incident so that it can be resolved as peacefully as possible. It's really that simple. Let me catch up in some chats here, and we'll probably have further discussion on this. I don't know how long I'm going to have to talk about everything I plan to talk about tonight, because I was like, look, this has to take precedence. This has to take priority. I get that. So let me cover this real fast. Happy birthday. Thank you for sharing your customs with us. Kelly, God bless you. I hope that you have many years of long life and health and happiness and great prosperity. And more important than all of those is that each day should be feel like that you are having greater personal growth. See, told you. Blessings. It's time. I'm supposed to be giving blessings. So there you go. Victor Mann, God bless you. May God continue to bless you and your ability to help us know truth. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will turn the blessing to you. May you feel. The blessing I'll give to you is that you should not just have personal growth, but you should recognize it, appreciate it, value that, and value yourself, as well as valuing others around you. One of the greatest obstacles that we as humans have is that we do not appreciate our own significance and self-worth. It's a terrible thing, which I actually think that it's an evil inclination that just sort of makes us feel like we are trivial. But the greatness that lies within each of us, whether it's on a macro scale or even on a micro scale, to affect and dramatically impact those who are in our lives, is far deeper than we possibly can imagine. Far deeper than we could possibly imagine. So I'll give you a blessing, Victor, that not only should you have personal growth, but you should recognize your own significance and keep that close in your heart, and understand that your words and your actions have genuine power, and that it should be used responsibly to try and make your micro social world as well as the macro social world a happier and healthier place. A lot of anti-Zionists fail to understand why Jews need a homeland while also causing Jews to need a home. Yes, exactly. Happy lunar birthday, Joe. Thank you. Remember, for 14 months, I'm going to give you the bomb. Happy lunar birthday. My stance on the Israel-Iran thing is zero support for Trump if he involves America in any way. I get it. I don't want to see us being so. Like I said, I'm fine with selling them bombs. I mean, that I think they might need bombs, and I'm totally fine with selling it to them. But they're grown. Do you think that he has been holding Israel back somehow, and now he is hands off? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. Unlike Biden and there seems to be a lot that he says the same way it goes with his tweets. He says things and then he doesn't for the impact rather than of the words, rather than necessarily believing that this is where we're going to go ultimately. So I'm fed up with being psyoped by all sides. Call me crazy. Well, the only reason you're crazy is because you've been psyoped by all sides. But I don't believe or buy into any of this BS anymore. That's what I'm saying. Just here's the thing also. I was watching this thing. I'm trying to remember where it was. I think I saved it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. With this woman who was warning about stay alert. And I'm just like, what does this even mean? Stay alert. What does being alert mean? Not this. Where are you?
Emma is really happy because
No, not that one. It was late yesterday that I saw this, and I was just like, what the heck are you talking about? Oh, I labeled it stupid. There you go. Talk about being psyoped. This is when the right sounds like crazy people to me. Don't worry, I'm not done with the Israel-Iran thing. I think I'm going to end up spending a large part of my show tonight talking about this. But I watched this and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, lady. I don't know what people start paying more attention to what's not being talked about. Okay, what do you got for us? It's 2 minutes. This is, you talk about being psyoped, and it just reminded me of this.
Y'all, I need you to hear me real clear right now, because Russia just moved nuclear bombers, not near Ukraine, not over the Atlantic, but 410 miles from U.S. soil, stationed in Anadir, facing Alaska. And within days, the United States quietly deployed 700 active duty Marines to Seal Beach, California. That isn't where the war is. That's right here at home. You think that's a coincidence?
Yes, I think it's a coincidence. I don't know what you're talking about. I assume that troops move around all the time. Yes, I think that's completely a coincidence.
Meanwhile, Israel strikes Iran, Iran fires back, and the U.S. starts pulling embassy personnel from Iraq and Bahrain.
So that they won't be taken as hostages? Which sounds like it's got nothing to do with Russia?
Like a fire drill. So let's put this together. Russia moved nuclear weapons into launch proximity. We deployed Marines to guard our largest West Coast port. Iran's threatening retaliation, and we're evacuating our own diplomats, and we're being told this is just business as usual. Come on now. I was raised Southern, trained in law, and grounded in reality, and this isn't normal.
This is very normal. This is very normal. This is like speculating that, well, you know, on C-SPAN, there's a hearing where the senators are drilling questions about of a whistleblower about what's going on with the EPA, and at the same time on TBS, there's an episode of Cheers where Sam is making a proposal. I wasn't born yesterday. I know these things are. We can put these things together. What? What are you talking about? This is the.
You do not move Marines for a protest. You do not park nukes.
He did move them for the protests.
Without a plan, and you sure don't clear embassies unless you're expecting escalation. These aren't scattered headlines, guys.
Of course they are. Of course they. Oh, how are they connected? Why would you be moving to California in response to Russia having nukes aimed at Alaska?
This is a synchronized shift, military, diplomatic, and domestic. And if we've been feeling like something big is coming,
then we're part of QAnon. Then that's what we are. If that's what you've been feeling. Look, I'm not going to say that there isn't more tension because of what's going on with Israel and Iran and statements from Trump. That's natural. But she said this long before that happened.
It's because it is. They're not going to say it out loud. But
what am I supposed to do with this information? Assuming there was any legitimacy to what you're saying here, what am I supposed to do with this information? Should I write my congressman? Should I send out a tweet? What am I supposed to do with this information? See, this is one of the things I never understood. Like, okay,
every move they're making right now says brace.
If this wasn't lunacy, I still would have no idea what to do with this information.
Not because a war's been declared, but because we are on the edge of a moment too big to ignore. You don't need fear, you need clarity. And what we're seeing is a pattern, not a panic. If this was a conspiracy, it'd be too obvious, but it's not. It's strategic, quiet, calculated, and it's happening right now. Stay aware. Stay
aware of what?
Stop waiting for a headline to tell you what your gut already knows.
Stay aware of what? What am I supposed to do with this information?
This isn't coincidence. This is coordination, and it means something's coming.
And therefore what? If you weren't like Backwana crazy, what should I do with this? If there was legitimacy, am I supposed to? Are you telling me I need to like go into survivor mode and just like start storing away, rationing out my food, have bottles of water in my basement? Like what do you? I need practical guidance here. 237,000 views. 9,000 likes.
Y'all, I need
9,000 likes. 9,000 likes. 9,000. From someone who has only 10,000 followers. 9,000 likes. This wasn't shared by Elon. This wasn't shared by Tim Pool. This wasn't shared by someone who's got millions of followers. 10,000 followers, 9,000 likes. This is like gaslighting. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do with this information. It's ridiculously speculative, and it's basically all we're missing is the red string across the names on the maps and stuff. That's all we're missing. And some name like Murdeco, like circled in red 14 times. There we go. Oh, here we go. I don't know what to do with this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Chill. Okay, I'm here to tell you this. I'm here to tell you, chill. Chill. Just chill. Relax. Okay? It's just Monday. It's just Monday. Just chill. Just chill. This you're gonna go like James Bond here and start like saving the world? What is she asking me to do? Whip out the jujitsu, Joe. Who's gonna call me Jujitsu Joe? I'm Jujitsu Joe. I'm ready. Oh, I see what's going on over there with the whole Bahrain and Alaska and the Seal Beach stuff going on. Here comes Jujitsu Joe. What are you supposed to do with this? 9,000 likes. Idiocy. It's crazy. So I brought that up because I appreciate where you're coming from here, Kay. And I'm saying is just tune these people out. Just understand. Just sort of like learn to like sift through this stuff and just be like, this is crap. This is crap. Put your trust in God. Trust me. You'll be happier. Trust me. Build a better relationship with God. You'll feel happier. Did Trump tell everyone to leave Tehran because he knows what's coming or because he wants it to create havoc? Havoc. If it's the latter, he probably defied Israel. He doesn't like war. Game being played here. I think it's very likely some sort of game that's being played here. Yeah, I do think that's. I think that, and I also think he doesn't want folks to end up being hostages. It's just like, okay, strategically, if you're trying to expand your life expectancy, perhaps being an American in Tehran is not a good call right now. In the same way, if you're an Israeli in Tehran, probably not a good call. Probably better places, probably safer places for you to be. So, like, yeah. Okay. I need to explain something to y'all here. Okay. I want to explain something to you. Further geopolitics I need to get in with you because a lot of people think that, oh, okay, the next thing that comes in here is Russia because when we go to the UN, we see that Russia is continually taking sides with the Arab nations. So I want to just put this thing to bed. Okay. I want to put this part to bed. Because a lot of people are screaming, this is the verge of World War III. That's where we're going next. Oh, here comes World War III. Here it comes. Here it comes. We're going to we're going to get involved there. And it's here comes World War III. Let me explain something to you. Okay. Russia doesn't care about the Muslim states. They don't care about the Muslim nations at all. You know who Putin cares about? Putin cares about Putin, first and foremost. Second on Putin's list as to who he cares about is Putin. Third, who he cares about is Putin. Fourth, who he cares about is people who can help Putin be happier, wealthier, richer, and more empowered. And fifth, who he cares about is Russia. Okay? That's Putin's top 5. That's his top 5. You know what he cares about at number 6? No one. He doesn't care about Israel. He doesn't care about Saudi Arabia or Iran or Iraq or whatever. No one. No one. You look at me, you say, well, look, how in the UN they're always standing next to each other. You know why? Because he knows that Israel and America have a healthy relationship, and the more he can side with the Arab nations against Israel, that it's a way of basically sort of punching the face at America, which is why Russia has done this since the 70s, long before Putin was in power. Russia has always sided with the Arab nations. You think they care about them? You think they care about them when they went into Afghanistan? No, they don't care. They don't care. You think that Putin is shedding a tear? He's shedding a tear for Khomeini? You think, he's like, oh my gosh, man, if something happens to Khomeini, I'm just going to have to respond. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. With that, I still don't want America to be going and invading Iran. I don't think Russia would get involved. I don't want to see us wasting our money or our troops there. I don't want to see American lives at risk. So no. But as far as that, like, if he does it, that'll lead to World War III. I think, why? Why would that happen? Why would that possibly happen? But I think we're the furthest thing in Trump's mind is, let me start World War III. I mean, that's the furthest thing in his mind. Quite the contrary. I think he thinks he's trying to help avert a World War III. So have faith in him. He's really good at this. I'll tell you this. Trump is much better at understanding geopolitics than you or me or Tucker Carlson. He's displayed it over and over again. He's really, really adept at this. He's really good at it. Does that, again, he's not flawless, but he's really good at it. So have confidence that we have the best possible man for the job. He might screw up, but I don't think he will. If there's any person we should bank on, it's him. And if you want to voice your opinion saying, hey, Donald, please do not send our troops in there, I'm totally down with that. You should. You should. But don't internally feel nervous. That's my point. Don't be afraid of what he's going to do simply because of something he writes. Es lichen Glückwunsch zum Geburtstag, Joe. Es lichen Glückwunsch zum Geburtstag. I'm assuming this is happy birthday, and I'm going to say thank you. Tucker and Bannon were based on each other's shows today. It sounded like Tucker was loved during primaries. That said, I voted for Trump. I trust Trump. I'm going to pray for Trump and get ready for fantasy football. Bam! There you go. There you go. There you go. Trust him. Trust this man. He knows what he's doing. Give me on, and on your birthday and your culture, I'm haggling a blessing for 10. My blessing, could you check your messages? I thank you in advance. This powerful blessing. Happy birthday, Joe. Yes, I can, and I am. I'm going to take care of this. All right. If you're unfamiliar with Kimmy Hunt, I will tell you this. She's been a long time follower of the show. She's awesome and amazing. And she right now, unfortunately, is dealing with cancer. And she has a Give, Send, Go, which I'm going to share the link. Control C. I'm going to share the link in the description. In fact, I'm going to put it at the top of the description. And I'm going to put it in the I'm going to pin it in the chat. I'm going to read it together. I'm going to do more than that. Maybe not. Do a little bit more of that. Really? How did that work? Sorry, I need to take care of Kimmy for a moment. Give me a moment. First, let me throw this. Let me throw this link in here. Pin it in the chat here for you. Pin this message. And I'm going to pin it in this other chat. So it's here in this message. And I'm going to pin it in this other chat. This is here. I don't like having an echo. All right. There you go. And I plan on sending you. Let me take care of that before I forget, because I will forget. First, is this pinned? It is pinned. All right. Okay. How did that work? Verify. I apologize for this momentary delay, but certain things are important, and this definitely qualifies. I can't really show you. All right. Can't really show you when I'm paying money because that's pretty stupid. All right. What you share with me is this Give and Go, which says, help Kim fight cancer with strength and grace. Hi, my name is Kim. I'm a retired nurse with a heart full of gratitude and hope, even in the face of new unexpected battle. Just a few weeks ago, I received diagnosis of stage 2B cervical cancer. On June 9th, I began an aggressive treatment plan that includes daily radiation and chemotherapy, which will last for 6 to 8 weeks. As I walk through this journey, I'm leaning on my faith and the kindness and support of others to carry me through the tough days. Although I have Medicare, the reality is that it doesn't cover everything. The out-of-pocket expenses are already significant, and that doesn't include the many everyday challenges that come with treatment. I'm already on a fixed retirement income, and by the end of the month, there's little to nothing left. Your support would help ease the financial burden so I can focus on fighting this disease with strength, grace, and faith. Amen. Even if you can't give your prayers, and shares mean the world to me. I truly believe that God has me in the palm of his hand, and that he will provide, often through the kindness of people like you. I've always taught my 3 girls, God will fight the battle, but we have to first pick up the sword. Well said. Your kindness and consideration are greatly appreciated. Thank you, Kim. God bless you. And my blessing to you for your birthday is that not only should you overcome this obstacle and have perfect health for many decades to come, that fighting through this battle should give you perspectives that make you stronger in every way imaginable, and that you should continue to be an inspiration to your daughters, God willing, their children and their children as well, for many, many decades to come. God bless you, Ken. All right. Nicolette Samek Joe, I may have asked him. I always look forward to your show. Thank you so much. You're awesome, Ann. It's my birthday as well, 6/16/74. It's the will of God for me to be a member. That's true. 16 months on the 16th. Dang. Thank you for your comments. I'm blessed by you each night with knowledge. I got to jump over to the ghetto real quick here. I missed a whole bunch of rants earlier, so let me just get this real quick. J.H. Schwalbach says, Joe, where have you been? I've been Joe Jonesin. I looked everywhere. I thought I found a second channel of yours, American News and Lawgic. Get out of here. I really like your tagline. Anal, that's where your news comes from. I don't know. Oh. I'm going to give you a blessing, J.H. Schwalbach, because, you sent me, I have in the line there that he sent a $25 super, it was a $25 rant. So I'm going to give you a blessing that your sense of humor should land like with like just consistently that it should just genuinely be funny, not something that I should just like literally laugh out loud every time I get like an awesome chat from you. Well, this is a blessing that we'll see if it comes true. This is when we'll know. I really hope this one comes true. Thank you, brother. You're awesome. I appreciate you. What else we got here? Felix De La Cruz says JFK, before they killed him, he was going to pull troops out of Vietnam and open relations with USSR Nixon, but CIA killed him politically. Yeah. Since JFK and Nixon presidents have fallen into line with agenda until Trump, they tried to kill Trump both physically and politically. Uzelian says, happy birthday in honor of him playing this video. Can I click this?
Who's in space?
He's playing me Mel Brooks' Jews in Space. I can't play that. You know I can't play that. Streamweaver says, happy birthday. You're the voice of reason and logic. Thank you. Felix De Cruz says, is Jerusalem being hit? If the answer is no, then it's because the Islamists won't bomb the dome with a rock. So far, thank God. Thank God. Leanne Hara, thank God. No. She was born yesterday. Foolishness. Please never show this woman again. Never click on any of her videos again. Don't promote foolishness. I have to. I had to show you how stupid it was. During the Cold War, World War III was closer without the public knowing. Tomorrow, the Russians will make coffee and tea in the morning. You need to know this is not normal to have coffee and tea for Russians. Oh, okay. Felix De Cruz says that the G7 Trump mentioned that was a bad idea to kick Putin out of the G8. Explained that the least Putin would be able to the table to talk. May the Ancient of Days rain down blessing upon you and your family, Joe. This is all from Felix De La Cruz. May you also bring healing down upon Kimmy Hunt. Amen. Amen. I didn't get this. I got to hit this. J.H. Schwalbach, happy birthday, Joe. Ooh, you were born. How special. How special. Your date of manufacturing was September 24th. Buy your mom something nice in September. Unfortunately, I appreciate the thought. I already gave you your blessing, so I hope you're not asking for another one. But I gave you one that was tailor-made for you. Yeah, my mom passed 10 years ago, but I actually conceptualized with Lady Lawgic many years ago that on your birthday you should send a thank you card to your mother. And she's the one who had to pop you out. She went through suffering for you. So yeah, that on your birthday you really do owe her a thank you card. But and it has to be, and who says it's exactly 9 months? No one knows. No one knows when it is. No one knows. All right. I want to try and wrap up because there's a bunch of birthday stuff. So, did we cover Iran? I think we covered Iran pretty well, right? I think I covered that story. So let me go through the rest of these real quick, and then I'll start getting into like what I actually put in my thumbnail, because that way people know, hey, he's going to talk about what he says he's talking about. So, Linda Muniz says, "Happy birthday, Joe! I love your channel. God bless you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. And I'm going to say to you, I hope God blesses you with perfect health and prosperity." And insight. That people should look at you with respect and insight. There you go. Cindy Detour, birthday blessings, Joe. Shalom, shalom. Thank you so much. God bless you. Remember, for 4 months. Awesome. Awesome. Nanner knows. I'm gonna save on the bell just because I don't want to hit the bell like whatchamacallit. Happy birthday, X message. What's X message? What does X message mean? I mean, I'm supposed to look on X what you wrote there, I assume. I'm doing a quick scan to see if I see something from you. I don't. I don't know what X message means. But I'm going to say to you, unless it's a DM. Is it a DM? It's possible it's a DM. Could be that's what you meant. I just want to make sure there wasn't a special request, because if there is, the X messages can get very annoying. Oh, there it is. No. 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 Don't make me. Nana's asking me. This is what I got from Nana. No, why'd you do this to me? Send me a message saying, what's with Lindsey Graham's hands?
So pray for our troops in harm's way. There are risks associated with any operation. They join the military to keep their country safe and to make the world a better place. And taking on the Ayatollah does both. To our friends in Israel.
This has. It's a nervous tick. Which, for someone who goes by ladybugs, nervous tick seems appropriate.
We have your back. We're praying for success. You've tolerated too much too long.
Okay, I can't. I was worried it was going to get faster. Anyway, that being said, I wish you nothing but blessings and peace, Netter knows. And to keep finding really awesome clips. Really awesome clips. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thomas Dietrich, happy birthday and blessings to all. I want to wish you a birthday blessing as well, Thomas Dietrich. Thomas Dietrich, he doesn't weigh in here often, but when he does, it's usually fairly significant. So I just want to say to you, I thank you and I appreciate your support. You are awesome, Thomas, and I hope that God blesses you with I like making individualized blessings. With a new fount of inner strength and resolve to better yourself and those around you. There you go. How many likes? Yeah, please, if you can hit the likes, I appreciate it. Joe, LOL, I'm in Seal Beach. I live next to the Naval Weapons Facility. Every summer they get active just like the Los Alamitos National Guard next door. That lady is crazy. God bless UK. I'm going to give you a blessing that you should be able to see through crap. You sent me that. You sent me that thing earlier. So my blessing to you, UK, is that you should not let that things don't stress you out. You're able to approach with an inner calm. And don't let things like stress you out. Just see through the same way you can see through that lady that you should see through whenever you're being gaslit, whether it's by the left or the right. That you should be able to see through it and not let it affect you. Because that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to affect you. What do you need? What you need to do with her info is get under your desk. I don't know what that means. Good Lawgic, check Twitter DMs now for more on Iran and email for other breaking news. We'll do. And I want to wish birthday blessing to you as well, my brother. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I hope that you see the fruits of your labors and the growth of your own channel over the forthcoming year. What am I supposed to check for here? What am I supposed to check for? I got all these different things. Close this out. Close this out. Email for other breaking news. This is going to be a long show tonight. What he's sharing with me here is photos are currently circulating which appear to show 3 ships on fire off the coast of Iran and the Gulf of Oman near the Strait of Hormuz. NASA's fire information for resource management systems map appear to confirm 3 fires in the Gulf of Oman. Wow. 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 He also shared with me how I don't want to do the he's talking about the 2020. He sent me a thing on the 2020 election. I'm not going to cover that tonight, though. I have way too much to do. But thank you. Miyasaki eats bacon. This is not my fight. There you go. There you go. Russian involvement is biblical. They're a little busy right now. That's what I'm saying. They're busy with Ukraine. Stop worrying about them. Thank you, Salty C. Member for 20 months. God, look at these long-term members. Just saw an ex-White House in talks with Iran to meet with Witkoff to reach nuclear deal. Let Trump cook. I heard that tonight, LOL. God bless Kim. Yes, that's the way to phrase it. Let Trump cook. Exactly. I'd like to make a blessing request for my manuscript. I'm going to start querying later this year. I'm giving you a blessing that your manuscript should go, your manuscript should exceed all of your wildest expectations. And your success with your manuscript should skyrocket. Audrey, happy birthday, many blessings, Joe. One thing I know for sure is that Trump is the master of the art of the deal and Sue's art of war. Hopefully, people will be patient and have an understanding. He'll do what's best. Amen. God bless you, Audra. I'm gonna give you a blessing that whatever you say, you should be acquainted with people saying, "My God, that woman is brilliant." There you go. I told you I like mixing it up. Different kinds of blessings. Not the same thing. Just whatever feels right in the moment. Right in the moment. That's the blessing that we give. I made Q Revere laugh. There you go. Sorry, I feel hard. No, don't feel horrible. All right, now I gotta give you another blessing. This dude is you're awesome. All right, I'm gonna give you. This is the last blessing for you, though, brother. I can't. So. yeah, I didn't give. I feel like I didn't give you a real blessing before with the whole humor thing. So I'm gonna give you a blessing that you should that let me come up with something good for you. All right. Well, I think you've displayed a remarkable amount of generosity to me. So I'm in the spirit of that, I'm going to give you a blessing that others, that you should continue to have the financial means to continue to be generous to those in your life, or whatever level they're on your life. That God should continue to bless you with comfort levels with respect to wealth and prosperity, and that people should recognize your generosity in all regards, not just financially, but also with respect to the way to valuing your time and your perspectives and your insight, and that those who are in your world should appreciate the gift of your company. This really plays into the whole self-value thing, which I think a lot of people need a lot more of. So if you value yourself and value others, I think the world would be a much happier place if we just understood and appreciated the amazingness about being a human being. Because we would be much happier. There would be no self-deletions. There would be no self-deletions if people understood their own inner greatness. Not, and by the way, no transit, none of the trans. There'd be no one transit. No one would be transit. If we understood it, all these mental illnesses, so many of them which are self-inflicted, would never happen if people had a true appreciation for their own greatness and the greatness of other humans. The society would be a much, much happier and healthier place. So I'm going to give you, so my blessing to you is that those in your world, not just that you should feel it, appreciate your own greatness and the greatness of those around you, but those who you feel are close to should recognize your inner greatness as well. That's a good one, I think. Joe, God bless you. Thank you for all the work you do entertaining us every evening. I ask you to bless my insurance business, where I help people put policies in place to help them in the event of critical illness and diagnosis. I'm going to give you a blessing, GB, that your insurance business and your sales should skyrocket in ways that make you just amazed at your own levels of success. No one knows this. I don't think I've ever said this before. I'm not even sure if Lady Lawgic knows what I'm about to tell you, all of you right now, because this predates my knowing her. So this is like at least 30 years ago, and perhaps more. It's likely somewhere between 30 to 35 years ago. I went for an interview to become an insurance broker. I did. And I came up with a concept that had never been tried by anyone before. And I was like, this is where, if they create this, I was like, and I sell this, I will become fabulously wealthy. The concept I devised did not exist at that time, although it became very popular. The concept I came up with was selling injury insurance to sporting teams. I was like, you can charge them a ton in premiums, a ton. And basically, this way, if you have some, at the time, the biggest stars were getting like $2 million a year instead of the 25, 30 million they're getting now. But yeah, I was like, the premiums you can charge would be astronomical. But they'll pay. And so I devised that, and 3 years later, it's the first time I heard of any teams that actually had insurance for their injuries. So there you go. So I wish a blessing upon you. No, I didn't end up going into insurance, but I wish a blessing upon you that you should create something novel, and that it should just enable you to succeed beyond your wildest imaginations. and that also that your client should appreciate the benefits that you're providing them, and appreciate what you do for them, because that's an important part of doing what we do. A large part of what I enjoy about my show is that I get such a ridiculously awesome feedback from you guys, and it makes the whole experience just a whole different thing, to feel appreciated. So I wish that's the blessing I'm going to further wish you, GB, that you should feel appreciated for what you do. All right, let me get into the crazy Democrats. Oh, a couple more rants I got to get to. Viola Pride saying, happy birthday from Digger number 14. I wish your birthday is to open the Digger chat, but really have a great birthday. Did I forget again? It can't be. Oh my God, I stink. I did open it now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Viola, I'm gonna wish for you. Blessing should I give Viola? That's a good question. What blessing should I give you, Viola? My blessing for you, Viola, is that you should have generation after generation of offspring who appreciate you. I think that's a good one. Who appreciate you, and who you appreciate similarly. Who make you genuinely proud. Is that good? That was good. I think that was good. Zun says, may every day of your new year be blessed with the same strength and vigor you've shown all your life. Hopefully more than that. Hopefully a lot more than that. But God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Uzelian, I want to wish you a blessing that you should see the fruits of your own efforts, which unfortunately most of us never do. You should live long enough to see and enjoy the fruits of your own efforts. I told you, I mix it up. You think I'm going left? I'm going right. You think I'm going right? I go left. Felix de la Cruz says there's something really off about the state representative, senator, and no balls wall state. Never numbers don't add up. Subtract, multiply, or divide right. All effed up from the floor. Because they're Democrats. That's a great segue for me. All right. Let's start with this. In case you were unaware, because you weren't following the No Kings rally, which means that you're sane, I'll share with you this. Let's start here. Because I only learned about this tonight. I'm not going to kid you. So apparently, the No Kings rallies that were held nationwide on June 14th ended up, unfortunately, in a death. So, when I saw this, I thought Dr. Zayo. I'm not going to kid you. Updated June 16th. Story has been updated with additional details and video of the shooting. Ooh, can I watch that with you? I don't think I can. A Latino radical leftist and alleged Antifa supporter has been charged with murder after allegedly causing the conditions that resulted in a Samoan man being killed at the Salt Lake City No Kings protest on June 14th. Who would have thought that a Democrat rally would end in violence? Who would have thought? No one could have predicted this. This was completely and totally unpredictable. Totally unpredictable. Arturo Gamboa, a 24-year-old member of the leftist Utah-based punk band Raid, was apprehended at the scene wearing all black and having semi-automatic rifle. A No Kings liberal peacekeeper volunteer. This is like when the criminals are given are running the asylum. A No Kings liberal peacekeeper volunteer with bad aim tried to take out Gamboa with 3 shots, but instead fatally wounded a bystander. The peacekeeper may have seriously misjudged the situation, as it's unclear if Gamboa was actively posing a threat. Let me see. I don't know if I can show this to you. I doubt I can. Let me take a quick look. It's really not clear what we're seeing, but discretion is the better part of valor in this thing. I'll give you the link to it. So if I'm not going to show this, just because it's too close. It's too close to the border of what YouTube is going to get mad at me for. So I'll share the link in the chat. I'll put it in the description also. There's the link in the chat if you want to check it out. It's always a smart thing to direct people away from your stream in the middle of a stream. That's good. That's good. That's good podcasting right there. That's podcasting 101. Folks are in the middle. If you lured people into your stream, now send them a link to send them on the way while you're halfway through. I'm such a noob. I'm a forever noob. There were NPCs that could do this better than me. So we're gonna go away from that for a moment. Open this back up here. The No Kings protest organizers, who were part of nearly 200 Democrat-aligned unions, PACs, nonprofits, and activist groups, did not want a significant police presence there and relied on the peacekeepers instead. There's nothing that a Democrat cannot screw up. Many left-wing activists are encouraged to believe that they're constantly under threat of mass killings by MAGA white supremacists or police, leading them to both open and concealed carry at their events while in a state of paranoia. Arthur Afa Alu, a 39-year-old fashion designer, died from his injuries in hospital. Suspect Gamboa only suffered a graze wound. Gamboa previously told music publication Slug Mag that he detested American global influence, citing racism. Quote, "This is exactly how the system is meant to function," he said. "The American system is a steam train that's always been fueled by black and brown bodies." Conservative independent journalist Taylor Hansen brought attention to a Facebook profile for a Utah-based person with the same name as the murder suspect. The page is filled with posts in support of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and other radical leftist causes. Antifa means anti-fascist. If you're anti-Antifa, then you're pro-fascist. And anti-fascism is not an ideology or a group. It's a baseline for a human with any kind of moral compass. If you support Trump, you support a fascist. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, God. Stupid. In one post, it's like you gotta love when simpletons think they're enlightened. In one post made by the 2020 BLM Antifa riots, the Arturo Gamboa reposted a message that reads, "If you're..." I got this. The same sentiment was echoed widely at the No Kings protest where the shooting occurred. There you go. Guy who idolizes Che Guevara. If you're unsure what that looks like, ask my man Arturo Gamboa. A kid has a rifle on him, on or near him, almost every protest last summer and didn't shoot not one person. But I bet he deterred a lot of Rittenhouses. I bet he didn't. Kyle Rittenhouse was the conservative teenager acquitted of intentional double homicide. Facebook post provides credence for the hypothesis that the peacekeeper shooter may have mistook Gamboa for a far-right threat. The peacekeeper who fired the deadly shots has not been named, and the Salt Lake City police have not stated if he will face any charges. The police have funded had provided a QR code and are asking for anyone with evidence about the shooting to submit it to investigators. Meanwhile, Democrats and liberal media are obfuscating details of the shooting, leading some of the public to think a pro-Trump gunman killed a protester and that the protest was peaceful. Of course they are, because that's what they're all about here. They're really a menace. It's time for Trump to actually go out there and label the Democrats as being the biggest threat to democracy. They're the biggest threat to democracy. I'm not talking all Democrats, but I'm talking about the ones who claim that they're Democrats. Only those lunatics who are still aligned with the Democratic Party. Those are the only ones who are really dangerous. They're the biggest threat to democracy. Cutting through some more clicks here. This was 100% friendly fire. Antifa loon tries to open carry a rifle. That's over here. Boomer 50501 commie freaks out and shoots the youngster with a rifle, missing and killing a random bystander. It's a good thing they have peacekeepers there. Good thing they got peacekeepers. Designated peacekeeper. This is Gamboa here. I thought he was Dr. Zayon. So, was that the guy's name in Planet of the Apes? I'm not sure. I've been trying to find the original video. 100% sure it's this guy. It is this guy. This is the guy who's the murderer. Peacekeeper. You know how he's a Democrat? You know how you know he's a Democrat? Tight pants. Oh, also he's at a No Kings rally. In case that part confused you. So it was a lethal, but mostly peaceful rally. I don't know why I got the same. Somebody hit it. This is misleading. The organizers of No Kings and the anti-Trump protest didn't want police heavily involved in Salt Lake City march, so they had their own volunteer leftist peacekeepers trying to maintain order. One of those peacekeepers, a protester wearing a vest, possibly misjudged the situation and fired shots at a radical Latino leftist who had a firearm. He barely grazed the target and killed another protester instead. So they're basically walking around with guns and their crappy shots. The No Kings protest wasn't peaceful. It was deadly. This page doesn't exist. The Dallas Morning News journalist deleted the post to avoid the community fact check. This is it. Innocent bystander dies after being shot by a peacekeeper, not a protester, at a No Kings protest in Salt Lake City. Law enforcement officials across America applaud. Yeah. Nice try, John. Nice try, John Gravois. This post has been deleted. Oh, no. Oh, dang it. Dang it. All right. So we go from that lunatic. You guys heard about this Belter guy? You heard about the Minnesota thing? You heard about that? You heard about that? I should talk about the Minnesota. I should talk about this guy. So apparently a guy in Minnesota, if a Democrat isn't happy with the way you've been doing things, some Minnesotans, he'll kill you. So lunatic Vance Belter, which the left is desperate to gaslight us into believing is a Republican, totally a Trump supporter, totally a Trump voter, totally. He's one of he's appointed to positions of power by Tim Walz, but totally voted against Tim Walz, totally. Yeah. Okay, that's a theory. So Walz appoints him, totally voted against Tim Walz, totally voted for Trump. Totally. That's this guy Vance Belter. So I found this article which I wanted to share with you. There was a manhunt for him. In case you're unfamiliar with the story, so this guy Belter basically killed a. Let's see if I can get the timeline of this. Let me see timeline. Let's do this proper. No. That's not it. That's not what I wanted. We'll go with Reuters. I don't know why. Probably because it's the first thing I found here. I do want to provide you with some backstory in case there's some folks out there who aren't familiar with this story. So this is not a good TLDR. So this guy, Vance Belter, a massive 2-day manhunt ended on Sunday with the arrest of Vance Belter, 57, for allegedly killing a Minnesota Democratic state lawmaker and her husband while posing as a police officer. Governor Tim Walz said Belter allegedly shot dead Melissa Hortman, the top Democrat in the Minnesota House, and her husband Mark in their home on Saturday, a crime Governor Tim Walz characterized as a politically motivated assassination. What he didn't mention is that this guy Belter was appointed to a job by him. Yeah. Authorities said Belter also allegedly shot and wounded another Democrat lawmaker, State Senator John Hoffman, and his wife Yvette at their home a few miles away. Quote, after a 2-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Belter, Walz told a news conference. One man's unthinkable actions have altered the state of Minnesota. Now, I need to just clarify here for you. I'm going to share with you some news about this you may not have seen, which displays the utter incompetence of Minnesota police. I'm going to label incompetence. You can tell me, if you're law enforcement, you can tell me if you think this is incompetence. We'll see. You'll see the clip together. A moment in this country where we watch violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now is the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country, and each and every one of us can do it. Yeah, don't mention that you appointed him. Walz said Hoffman, who had been hit with 9 bullets, came out of his final surgery and was moving towards recovery. And thank God for that. Belter has links to evangelical ministries. Oh, let's tell you how he's such a big Republican. He's such a big Republican. He's a Christian. Oh, so he must be a Republican. And claimed to be a security expert with experience at the Gaza Strip in Africa. In the Gaza Strip in Africa, according to online postings and public records reviewed by Reuters. Belter was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder, criminal complaint showed. 3 of those charges are punishable with jail terms up to 40 years, according to the complaint unsealed on Sunday. Belter has been impersonating a police officer while carrying out the shootings, wearing an officer's uniform, driving a Ford SUV with police-style lights, according to the Hennepin County criminal complaint unsealed on Sunday. Belter fled on foot early on Saturday when officers confronted him at Hortman's Brooklyn Park home. So they confront him outside her house, said authorities, who warned residents to stay indoors for their own safety and unleash the state's biggest manhunt. When they searched his SUV after the shootings, they discovered 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, and a list of other public officials, including their addresses, the criminal complaint showed. Yeah, what about the fact that it had all these No Kings rally stuff in there also? You got that? You got that part in your little report here, Reuters? Working on a tip that Belter was near his home in the city of Green Isle, more than 20 SWAT team members combed the area, aided by surveillance aircraft, officials said. Belter was armed but surrendered with no shots fired. The suspect crawled to law enforcement teams and was placed under arrest. Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Geiger of the Minnesota State Patrol told the briefing. The suspect was taken into custody without any use of force. The operation to capture Belter, drawing on the work of hundreds of detectives and a wide range of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, was the largest manhunt in state history, Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley said. Now begins the hard work of looking at what the motive is, Bruley said. The killing was the latest episode of a high-profile U.S. political violence. Let's check out this video here that I really want you to see. I really want you to see this video here where the police talk about this situation here. To me, this sounds like incompetence. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Maybe I could be wrong.
Belter approached Representative Portman's home, again dressed as a police officer, wearing the tactical vest and body armor, and wearing that hyper-realistic mask.
Now, he keeps calling this a hyper-realistic mask. It's a Halloween mask, as in, like, you know, Michael Myers from Halloween. That's the hyper-realistic mask. Very, very high. It's not just realistic. It's hyper-realistic. And Joe Thompson wants you to know just how hyper-realistic it is. How super-dupery realistic. Maybe the fact that he's wearing a mask should be something that would alert law enforcement. I don't know. But let's hear how he breaks down the sequence of events here.
He was armed and carrying a flashlight. Before he entered the home, 2 Brooklyn Park police officers arrived at the scene.
Before he enters the home, 2 officers arrive at the scene.
They too had been dispatched to check on Representative Portman after learning of the shooting of Senator Hoffman.
So first he shot Senator Hoffman. So Hennepin police are like, okay, this seems like it might be some sort of political assassination. We should go check on Portman, make sure that there's no lunatic who's out there. They see a guy in a Michael Myers mask, hyper-realistic Michael Myers mask, and he has not yet gone into the house. So they're supposed to be checking, make sure that she's okay. This guy has not yet killed him.
When they arrived at the scene, they saw Belter's black SUV parked in the driveway with the emergency lights flashing.
And right away, that should have said, how did they get here? We didn't hear anyone on the radio say they're coming over here. That should, you would think, alerted them. Why is his lights flashing?
And they saw Belter standing in front of the house several feet from the door.
So they see him several feet from the door, so he's not inside yet.
When Belter saw the officers get out of the car, he drew his weapon and began firing. He rushed into the house through the front door, firing into it. He repeatedly fired into the house.
So I can give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it wasn't incompetence. Maybe they weren't in position to stop him. But why do they keep telling about the hyper-realistic mask? They're going to talk about it again.
And when he entered, he murdered Representative Portman and her husband, Mark. The Brooklyn Park police officers fired at Belter as he rushed into the home, but he escaped into the home and out the back. Officers recovered Belter's 9mm Beretta, along with the body armor and the mask, behind the home along his path of flight when he fled on foot. They later searched Belter's car, where they found 5 more firearms, including assault-style rifles and a large quantity of ammunition.
Now, if you're new to this story, you might be wondering why would a Democrat who was appointed to position, and I want to be 100% sure now. Let me ask Grok, just so I can find out what position appointed Walls. I've been saying it over and over again. Appoint. I've been saying it. I mean, want to be 100%. Okay, there we go. Just so you know, I'm not making this up. Yes, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz appointed Vance Luther Bolter to the governor's Workforce Development Board in 2019 as a business member for a 4-year term, which expired in January 2023. Bolter had also been appointed to the same board in 2016 by former Governor Mark Dayton. These appointments were to a nonpartisan, unpaid advisory board with about 60 members tasked with making workforce policy recommendations. There's no evidence of a close personal or political relationship between Walz and Bolter. Oh, he just randomly picked them. And the appointments were based on Belter's credentials and community involvement, not extensive vetting. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Belter also had in his car notebooks containing a list of more than 45 Minnesota state and federal elected officials, including Representative Portman. Now, Belter planned his attack carefully. He researched his victims and their families. He used the internet and other tools to find their addresses and names, the names of their family members. He conducted surveillance of their homes and took notes about
this sounds very premeditated.
The location of their homes. He also prepared in other ways. He concealed himself as a police officer, outfitting his black SUV with police lights and a police license plate, wearing a black tactical vest and body armor, carrying a police flag.
I'm being corrected by FD Man saying it was a Breaking Bad Walter White Halloween mask. He had a gunfight with cops and got away by going out the back door. Okay, so you're saying he wasn't at fault. FD Man he also asked, what's up with the soy boys with guns over the weekend? How did that soy boy evade cops during a gunfight, then slip away out the back door of a surrounded house? Numbers don't add up. Well, there's 2 of them, so maybe he wasn't surrounded. No King's Peacekeeper help an innocent man rest in peace, because the F can't shoot straight. He also says Democrats are the biggest threat to our constitutional republic. No, I want to say democracy. I know it's I know we're not a democracy. It's a mockery of them. No kings. Never give a Democrat a gun. They can't shoot straight. And Gamboa looks like a caveman who drinks Mocha Choco soy milk lattes. FD Man, you're funny. You're funny, bro. I see. I also have some chats, but I'll get to the YouTube chats in a moment.
Flashlight and a handgun. And of course, he wore that hyper-realistic silicone mask as seen on the surveillance videos. The video of his arrival and shooting of Senator Hoffman is truly chilling. Again, it's no exaggeration to say this is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah. All right, look, we can give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to prejudge the police here. Perhaps it was only 2 of them. Perhaps they were in a terrible position to get off a good shot. And I don't know. Maybe they just had a fresh load of food and they weren't ready to like chase. They weren't in chase mode. They hadn't done their cardio. Maybe they, he got around. I don't know. Just two of them. It's not like maybe there weren't, it's not like there were 20 cops there. But it's not a good look. And then they keep talking about his hyper-realistic mask as if like, how is that important in this unless you're trying to tell us that's why she opened the door? I don't know. They thought it was Walter White. I thought it looked like, to me, it looked like a Halloween mask, but maybe it was Walter White. Jadine saying, bless you, Joe. Blessed be the peacemaker. Also, please let Gal Gadot bless me. Jadine, I wish nothing upon you but great blessings for the entire forthcoming year. You should look back on the next year, by my next birthday, and say, oh my God, that was probably the best 12-month stretch of my life. That's my blessing for you. It's good, right? It's a good one. Kimmy Hunt says, may the beauty of God be reflected in your eyes, the love of God reflected in your hands, the wisdom of God reflected in your words, and the knowledge of God flow from your heart, that all may see. Wow. That was really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was really, really beautiful. Really. Amen. Thank you. 20 blessings. My rabbi doesn't charge for brachas. I know. I labeled this the Jewiest thing I've ever come up with. This is probably the Jewiest thing any. Yeah, there you go. It was good. I'm changing the subject. Tribalism as it relates to politics and religion. All right. Great job. Let's get on it. Tribalism as it relates to politics and religion. Religion tends to be very tribal. Politics tends to be very tribal. They're both very tribal. I'll give you this much, Aloha. I'll throw you a little more of a bone. A little more. Give you a little more. And that is that tribalism is not racism. And tribalism is healthy. It's very healthy. Tribalism is what keeps us from, it's part of our self-defense mechanism, tribalism. A lot of when people naturally feel comfortable with those who look like them, it's similar to, it's because when you're an infant, first of all, those are the faces you see. So that's what you're naturally going to become accustomed to. And the same way baby sparrow knows to stay away from a tiger because it looks different. That's part of, to try to eradicate tribalism is stupid. Now you should be sufficiently intelligent to see through when you're and try and recognize when you're being tribal. And you should give all humans the benefit of the doubt when you first meet them, that's for sure. But yeah, a lot of people will see, it was much more in vogue to say this sort of thing like 4 years ago when people were talking about white fragility and all that other stupid idiocy that they would label as being racist. But I made my family laugh when I said a joke. I think I might have shared this on this channel. I think it was the funniest thing I ever heard a woman say. It's a female comedian. I think it might have been the funniest thing I ever heard a woman say. And it's, yeah, well, what she said was, it's just a joke. Don't take it wrong. No one take this wrong. She was talking about how built-in habits are very hard to kick. She said she was walking down the street. So I'm walking down the street and I see this young black man was on the same side, like walking toward me. And I instinctively just reached for my purse. And then I thought about it intellectually and I realized he's not for sale. And then he mugged me. It's funny. It's pretty good. It's good. All right. So, I'll just share this with you also. I'm talking about how Democrats are losing their minds. Yeah, don't get me. I'm not a fan of female comedians by and large. Not gonna kid you. It's very. I said this is the funniest thing I ever heard a woman say. But I did mention this. It's the only funny thing I ever heard. Jokes. They're just jokes. All right. Democratic Party. Don't ask me what's going on with them. They're such a mess. I can actually, don't ask me, but I will tell you anyway. Democratic Party just lost the support of the nation's second largest teachers union, led by Randy Weingarten, the DNC board member and super delegate. She's a super delegate. Resigned from the party the day after she led the nationwide No Kings protest. Democrats are in complete disarray and they can't decide who to support, much less what they stand for. There's good reasons for this. Listen to
this president's chaos. And you are the community to this president's chaos.
Waving.
And together we build a future of opportunity and justice for all.
I feel like she's like this podium is way too tall for me. No one can see me.
Hope over fear, aspiration over anger, the promise of America for each and every American. That is what we are fighting for today. You are the community.
Pathetic. Wait, I think I had another one of this. Was this it? Yeah. 2 top union leaders quit DNC post in dispute with chairman. This is the other one. Lee Saunders, president of whatever that is also at the DNC. This amounts to the exit of 2 of the highest profile union leaders aligned with the Democratic Party. Do you guys know what AFSCME is? I don't know. Americans with Epilepsy, Americans for Skincare meets Epilepsy or something. I don't know, something. This amounts to the exit of 2 of the highest profile union leaders aligned with the Democratic Party. The Times reported Randy Weingarten exit earlier. She cited disagreements with Ken Martin in a resignation letter. I appear to be out of step with the leadership you are forging. So basically, everyone is bailing on Ken Martin. Ken Martin, because they got rid of Hogg. We covered that last week. They got rid of Hogg, who was like second in command. They're having brand new elections there. He seemed like the weakest person on earth when he's like, I need you to leave because no one's really listening to me. And there are reasons that this is happening. Two top union leaders quit DNC, Randy Weingarten and Lee Saunders, and they're citing the leaders of 2 nations' largest, most influential labor unions have quit their posts in the DNC in a major rebuke of the new party chairman, Ken Martin. Randy Weingarten, longtime leader of the American Federation of Teachers and a major voice in Democratic politics, and Lee Saunders, the president of American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, told Mr. Martin they would decline offers and to remain at-large members of the National Party. Now, let me tell you something. It's very sad that the head of the teachers union is a super delegate for the Democratic Party. Like, how the hell are you actually a good leader? Like, that's not a conflict. That's not a conflict of interest that smacks anyone in the face as soon as they see it. Departures of Ms. Weingarten and Mr. Saunders represent a significant erosion of trust in the DNC, the official arm of the National Party. During a moment in which Democrats are still locked out of power, grappling for a messenger to lead the opposition to President Trump. In their resignation messages, the 2 union chiefs suggested under Mr. Martin's leadership, DNC was failing to expand its coalition. Oh, my God. While I'm proud to be a Democrat, I appear to be out of step with the leadership you're forging. I do not want to be the one who keeps questioning why we're not enlarging our tent and actively trying to engage more and more of our communities, Ms. Weingarten wrote. Mr. Saunders wrote, he has 1.4 million workers. He said, decision to decline the nomination of the DNC was not made lightly. It comes after deep reflection and deliberate conversation about the path forward for our union and the working people we represent. Okay, so you want to know why they're having a problem? I'll explain to you why they're having a problem. Because no one really is looking at the 2026 elections and what they're really, really focusing on. Well, besides the fact they probably, if you look at polling, it doesn't look really good for the 26 elections because despite whatever it is that they're screaming about Trump, his policies are way more popular than anything that the left is offering because their policies suck. But even worse than that, if you're in the DNC, I want you to just understand the problems that you have if you're in the DNC. The last time that you had to run an election, and the time before that you had to run an election, you were able to run the election on Stop Trump. So in 2020 and 2024, they're able to run their election on, we have to stop Trump. He's the most terrible person on earth. We have to stop Trump. We must stop Trump. Oh my God, he's a fascist. He's Hannah. He's all these terrible things. We have to stop Trump. We have to stop Trump. We have to, oh my God, do you know what Trump's doing now? This is not helping you in 2028. This is doing nothing for you in 2028 because the one thing that we can all be pretty confident in is you're not going to be running a candidate against Trump. So you have nothing to say other than what your policies are. And your policies have been rejected by the American people. Your policies have been like, let's save the criminals. Your policies were mask up, and trust the science and all the other idiocy that they've been throwing out there. Their policies have sucked. They don't have any messaging of how to make America a better place to live. The only thing they've been able to rally around with any sort of success is we have to stop Trump. And even that failed on the second go-round in 2024. Failed resoundingly. For the DNC to fail to get the popular vote is a difficult thing to bungle. It's a difficult thing to bungle. They can't make up their minds whether or not they need to kick out Kamala. They have no idea who the next leader is supposed to be. There's no consensus, clear-cut choice that this is the future of the party. They're in utter disarray. So you don't have the House, you don't have the Senate, you don't have the White House, you don't have the Supreme Court, and you have no message. You lost everything, and rightfully so because you suck. You're terrible. And you're self-destructive. You emasculate men, and you embolden predators, and you helped illegal aliens stream across our borders. And you basically made America as crappy a place as you could make it. You did everything you can to make it as crappy a place as you could. Now you're frustrated trying to figure out, well, what are we going to do now? How are we going to handle this? What are we going to do? I'm not sure what we're going to do. I was going to say, I mean, if AOC is your best, I mean, they're intelligent enough to understand that she's a flash in the pan kind of thing, but if she has to actually engage in a debate, she's going to look like an idiot. So, yeah, is she the leader of the party? I mean, how pathetic is that? So she seriously can't form her own thoughts. And here's the thing. Kamala Harris was a warning message as to just how terrible running an airheaded woman is. Just what a disaster that is. I actually think Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom is about as popular as smallpox. So where are you going? Who's the beacon on the horizon? I think it's probably Gretchen Whitmer right now, which is terrifying. Unless they can get, I think they'd love to convince Michelle Obama to run, but I think she must have some sort of issues. I think she has some psychological issues. I mean, I suspect that just from seeing her talk, where half her mouth moves all the time, and she just looks like she's like, I mean, everyone makes jokes about the whole, trans thing and stuff like that. I don't want to go down that road. I'm I'm simply saying she looks like she has issues. She certainly seems to be terrified of actually taking a political punch in the face. I don't think she got the stomach for it, fortunately, because I do think that she's sufficiently popular with the left that she could resurrect that party. Unfortunately, I don't think she's got the stomach for it. Which means we're talking about Gretchen Whitmer, who looks like the Wicked Witch of the... She looks like she looks like such an evil witch. She really does. But I don't want to underestimate the potential for her to rally together a party. So while I think she looks like a psychotic lunatic, I can see other folks having a different read on her. And, you know, people who are not following politics in an odd number of years. She's a complete disaster. She's a complete and utter disaster. Tim Walz, his political future is done. He looked like a clown. So his political futures, they have no one. Hey, the shining beacon they have is Pete Buttigieg. I mean, where are they going? Who do they have? And that's why Gavin Newsom sees such an open field. He's like, okay, look, I know that I set fire to my entire state, and like I look like an idiot when it comes to these stupid rallies, and that I was practically, and I've turned California into literally a steaming pile of dog feces. I mean, literally. There's so many ways to attack him, but I guess he figures he certainly has presidential aspirations. No one debates a Florida governor. Why would he have that whole debate with DeSantis to try and show his mettle? I will tell you this: he debates well. Don't want to underestimate him either. I mean, you underestimate people at your own peril. So I'd rather overestimate someone's capacity to be a danger than to underestimate them. Not sounding alarm bells. I'm just saying they can have their moments. But yeah, so you can understand why Randy Weingarten is bailing on it. She's bailing. Maybe we need to, maybe it's time for us to insert the Liz Cheney plan. The Liz Cheney plan, like, oh my God, I just hope they don't go with Liz Cheney. She would be a real danger. She'd be a danger to the next Republican candidate. She could take out a J.D. Vance. That's what we need to start, and we need to start selling that. I hope they don't go with Liz Cheney. She's someone who could really manage to defeat J.D. Vance. I got to practice saying this with a straight face. To me, the biggest threat to the Republican Party right now is Liz Cheney. If the Democrats manage to nominate, if they figure out that nominating Liz Cheney, the secret weapon that she is. Stop it. I gotta say it seriously. Hold on. Okay, guys, the one thing we really need to be concerned about is if Liz Cheney were to become officially a Democrat and to run, I think that she's someone who could be a real challenge for J.D. Vance to knock off. She has the political instinct and perspective and built-in inroads into the Republican Party, where she's someone who could completely derail J.D. Vance. And that's why we have to hope that the Democrats never figure out the secret weapon that Liz Cheney could be towards marching them towards victory in 2028. We need to start the Stop Liz campaign right now before she ends up becoming the next DNC candidate for president. All right. Anyway, it's time for me to land my plane. I have court in the morning. I've been here for a little while now. I've been here for a minute. It's time for me to land my plane. I want to thank each and every one of you for participating and the exceptional warm wishes that I've gotten for all of you. Please make sure you check out Kimmy Hunt's her Give Send Go. Link is in the description. Link is pinned in the chat. And we wish nothing but our prayers for that God will help her overcome these challenges. And to each and every one of you, I thank you for joining me. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, lab meat, they, them, not you. Lab meat is meant for grok. And they, them, but not for you. Do not eat the bugs. Don't eat the bugs. Don't do it. Good night, everyone. Godspeed.